Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, pet lovers of all ages, today we embark on a heartfelt journey, a journey that begins with wagging tails, gentle purrs, and the loving eyes of our furry friends. But as all journeys do, this one too must face the inevitable question: what happens to pets when they die? Do animals have souls? From the moment we bring them into our homes, pets become part of our families. They greet us at the door, comfort us when we are sad, and fill our lives with laughter and joy. But when their time comes to an end, we are left with an emptiness, wondering, where do they go? Are they gone forever? Or is there something beyond? Throughout history, different cultures and religions have sought to answer this question. In ancient Egypt, beloved animals were mummified and buried with their owners, signifying their eternal companionship. Many indigenous traditions believe that animals have spirits, guiding us even after death. Hinduism and Buddhism embrace the idea of reincarnation, where both humans and animals are reborn into new lives, continuing their spiritual journey. Meanwhile, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism present varying perspectives, some suggesting that animals return to dust, while others hint at their place in a heavenly realm. Science, of course, gives us a different perspective. To scientists, life is a biological process. When an animal dies, its body ceases to function and its energy returns to the earth, feeding new life. But is energy the same as a soul? Or is there something more, something unseen that we feel in our hearts when we remember them? Anyone who has ever had a pet knows that they possess emotions, intelligence, and the ability to love. They dream as they sleep, they recognize their owners, and they form deep bonds that defy logic. If love is a measure of the soul, then surely animals must have one. And if they have souls, where do those souls go? Some believe in the Rainbow Bridge, a place where pets run free, waiting for their owners to reunite with them in the afterlife. Others feel their presence in unexpected ways: a familiar bark in the wind, a soft purr in the quiet of the night. Could it be their way of telling us that they are still with us, just beyond the veil of what we can see? In the end, perhaps the answer is not one we find in books or doctrines, but in the love they leave behind, the way their memory lingers in our hearts, the way we still hear their paws against the floor, and the way they continue to teach us even after they are gone. From the moment we bring a pet into our home, something profound begins to unfold. A small, furry creature full of innocence and curiosity steps into our lives, unaware of the depth of love they are about to receive, or the impact they will have on us. Whether it is a wagging tail, a gentle purr, or the excited fluttering of tiny wings, pets find a way into our hearts in a manner that is both subtle and overwhelming. They become our companions, our confidants, and sometimes our greatest teachers. A pet's presence transforms a house into a home. The simple act of coming home to a dog eagerly waiting at the door, or a cat lazily stretching in a sunbeam, creates a sense of warmth and belonging. They are there in our happiest moments, celebrating with an excited leap or a contented nuzzle. They are there in our darkest hours, offering silent comfort when words fail. Their love is unconditional, never based on status, appearance, or wealth, only on the bond that grows between them and their human. This bond is not built in a day. It develops through shared experiences, morning walks, bedtime cuddles, playful chases, and quiet moments of understanding. It is strengthened through trust, as pets learn that their humans will care for them, protect them, and love them despite their quirks. It is evident in the way a dog wags its tail at the mere sight of its owner, or how a cat curls up on a lap, purring in contentment. Even animals that are often seen as less expressive, rabbits, birds, or even reptiles, form connections in their own unique ways. A parrot mimicking its owner's laughter, a rabbit nudging for attention, or a bearded dragon resting calmly on a familiar shoulder all show the depth of their attachment. One of the most beautiful things about this relationship is its purity. Humans often struggle with relationships that come with expectations, disappointments, and conditions. Pets, however, love without question. They do not judge. They do not hold grudges. They do not care about imperfections. A dog does not see its owner's insecurities. It only sees someone it loves. A cat does not measure a person's worth by their achievements. It simply finds comfort in their presence. Studies have shown that the bond between humans and pets has tangible benefits. The simple act of petting an animal can reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and increase levels of oxytocin, the hormone responsible for feelings of love and bonding. People who own pets often experience lower levels of anxiety and depression, finding solace in the quiet companionship of their animal friends. For children, growing up with pets teaches empathy, responsibility, and the importance of kindness. For the elderly, a pet can be a source of purpose, companionship, and a reason to smile each day. But this connection goes beyond the physical. There is something almost spiritual about the way a pet seems to understand their owner's emotions without a single word being spoken. They sense sadness and offer comfort, sense excitement and join in the joy. There are countless stories of dogs refusing to leave their owner's side during times of grief, or cats curling up next to someone who is unwell, as if offering silent healing. This unspoken understanding creates a relationship that is deeply profound, one that often feels as though it transcends the limits of language and logic. It is this bond that makes the loss of a pet so heartbreaking. Saying goodbye to a pet is not simply losing an animal, it is losing a friend, a source of unconditional love, a piece of one's heart. The grief that follows is not just sadness, it is the ache of missing their presence, the silence where their sounds used to be, the emptiness where they once stood. Some may say it was just a pet, but those who have loved and lost an animal know better. It is never just a pet, it is a soul that has touched ours in a way few others can. Throughout history, humans have sought to understand what happens after death, not just to themselves, but to the animals they share their lives with. Different cultures and religions have developed their own perspectives on whether animals have souls and what their fate might be beyond this world. These beliefs reflect the deep connections people have with their pets and the longing to know that their cherished companions might continue to exist in some form after passing away. In ancient Egypt, animals were held in high regard, often seen as sacred beings connected to the gods. Cats, for example, were associated with the goddess Bastet, a protector of homes and families. Egyptians not only loved their pets, but also ensured they were honored in death, sometimes even mummifying them alongside their owners so they could continue their companionship in the afterlife. This practice suggests that ancient Egyptians believed animals had souls, or at least a spiritual essence that persisted beyond death. Hinduism and Buddhism offer another perspective, one centered around reincarnation. In these traditions, all living beings, including animals, are believed to be part of the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. A soul, or Atman, moves through different lifetimes based on karma, the sum of one's actions. This means that an animal could be reborn as another creature or even a human in a future life. In Hindu teachings, cows are especially revered, considered sacred animals that represent life and sustenance. Many Buddhists extend their compassion to all creatures, believing that they too are on their own spiritual journey toward enlightenment. In contrast, the Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, offer varying interpretations of whether animals have souls and what happens to them after death. Many Christian traditions teach that humans have immortal souls and that animals, while beloved, do not have the same eternal spirit. However, some interpretations suggest that animals could be present in heaven. The Bible describes a future paradise where the lion shall lie down with the lamb suggesting that animals may exist in the afterlife. Pope Francis even once remarked that paradise is open to all of God's creatures, giving comfort to those who hope to reunite with their pets in heaven. Islam acknowledges the importance of animals in the natural order, emphasizing kindness and respect toward them. The Quran states that animals worship God in their own way, and there are hadiths, sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, that speak of animals being judged for their deeds. While Islamic teachings focus more on the afterlife of humans, the idea that animals have a spiritual role in creation suggests that they are not merely temporary beings. Some scholars argue that animals, being sinless, may enter paradise as part of God's mercy. Judaism, like Christianity and Islam, holds differing views on the fate of animals. Some Jewish teachings suggest that animals have a divine spark, while others believe that their existence ends with their physical life. However, the Torah emphasizes the ethical treatment of animals, reflecting the belief that they are valuable parts of creation. In some mystical traditions, such as Kabbalah, animals are considered to have a soul, though it may be different from that of a human. Beyond religious teachings, indigenous cultures around the world have long believed that animals have spirits that continue after death. Many Native American tribes hold that animals are not only part of nature, but also spiritual beings that guide and protect humans. Some traditions believe that when an animal dies, its spirit moves on to another realm, where it continues to watch over those it left behind. In Shintoism, the traditional belief system of Japan, animals are sometimes seen as messengers of the gods, reinforcing the idea that they possess a sacred essence. These diverse beliefs reflect humanity's enduring desire to see animals as more than just temporary companions, whether through reincarnation, a heavenly paradise, or spiritual energy that remains. Different cultures offer comfort in the idea that the bonds between humans and animals are not necessarily broken by death. Even in a world driven by science and reason, these beliefs persist, showing that the love people have for their pets is something deeply rooted in history, faith, and the human heart. Science approaches the question of what happens to pets after they die from a perspective grounded in observable evidence and biological processes. Unlike spiritual or religious interpretations which explore the possibility of an afterlife, science focuses on what can be measured: the physical body, energy transfer, and the natural cycles of life and death. When an animal dies, its biological functions cease. The heart stops beating, the brain shuts down, and the body begins to break down through natural decomposition. This is the same process that occurs in all living organisms, including humans. Cells lose their ability to function, tissues degrade, and eventually the body returns to the environment, contributing nutrients to the soil and sustaining new life. This cycle, known as the law of conservation of energy, is a fundamental principle of physics. Energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. In this sense, while a pet's physical body ceases to function, the energy that once powered it does not vanish. It is merely transferred into other forms, such as heat or organic matter. From a neurological perspective, consciousness is understood as a product of brain activity. In humans and animals alike, emotions, memories, and awareness are linked to the brain's complex network of neurons. When the brain stops functioning, so does consciousness. This is why science generally views death as the definitive end of an individual's experience. Unlike religious or philosophical beliefs that suggest a soul may persist, science does not provide evidence for an existence beyond physical death. However, the absence of proof does not necessarily mean the absence of possibility. Many aspects of life and the universe remain unexplained, and even scientists acknowledge that there is still much to learn about the nature of consciousness. Some researchers have explored theories of quantum mechanics and consciousness, questioning whether some form of awareness or energy could exist beyond the physical realm. While there is no concrete scientific evidence to support this idea, it remains an open area of inquiry. Additionally, the bond between humans and animals extends beyond what science can fully explain. Pets display emotions, intelligence, and even behaviors that suggest a level of awareness beyond mere instinct. They dream, they recognize their owners, and they show signs of attachment, love, and grief. Studies have documented cases of animals mourning their companions, whether human or fellow animal, indicating that their understanding of life and death might be more complex than previously assumed. Science also acknowledges the profound impact pets have on human emotions and psychology. The loss of a pet can trigger intense grief, similar to losing a human loved one. This grief is not just emotional, it has a measurable effect on the brain and body. The bonds we form with pets release oxytocin, a hormone associated with love and attachment, and when a pet dies, the loss of that bond can cause real physical pain. Neuroscience confirms that the human brain does not easily distinguish between different types of love, whether for a pet, a friend, or a family member. This explains why losing a pet can be just as devastating as losing a human companion. Another scientific perspective on this topic comes from the field of psychology, particularly in how people cope with the death of a pet. Some individuals report sensing their pet's presence even after they are gone, whether through dreams, sounds, or feelings of being watched. While science attributes these experiences to the brain's way of processing grief, others see them as signs that their pet's spirit lingers. Cognitive psychology suggests that the mind creates these sensations as a form of comfort, helping individuals transition through the stages of loss. However, whether these experiences are purely psychological or something more remains a matter of personal belief. Ultimately, science provides a clear answer about the physical aspects of death, but does not claim to answer the deeper existential questions about what happens beyond. While scientific knowledge explains the biological process of dying, it does not erase the emotions, connections, and mysteries that make the loss of a pet such a profound experience. Whether or not pets have souls remains beyond the scope of current scientific understanding, leaving room for individual interpretation, personal belief, and the enduring power of love. Anyone who has ever had a pet knows that animals are capable of deep emotions, intelligence, and strong bonds with their human companions. From the joyful wag of a dog's tail when its owner returns home, to the contented purring of a cat curled up in a lap, these behaviors suggest something far more complex than mere instinct. They show love, trust, and an emotional connection that cannot be easily dismissed. This naturally raises the question, if emotions and intelligence are signs of a soul, then do animals have one? Scientific research has consistently demonstrated that animals possess emotions similar to those of humans. Studies on dogs, for example, have shown that they experience joy, fear, anxiety, and even jealousy. When a dog is reunited with its owner after a long absence, its brain releases oxytocin, the same hormone that strengthens human bonds between loved ones. This chemical reaction is not just a biological process, it is a sign of genuine emotional attachment. Dogs grieve when they lose a companion, refusing to eat or acting withdrawn. There have been numerous accounts of dogs waiting by the door or returning to the graves of their deceased owners, seemingly searching for them. These behaviors suggest a deep emotional awareness, one that goes beyond simple survival instincts. Cats, often seen as more independent, also display strong emotional bonds. They recognize their owners, respond to their names, and even seek comfort in familiar humans when they are stressed or sick. They exhibit affection through slow blinks, head rubs, and kneading, all behaviors that indicate trust and attachment. Even beyond common household pets, elephants have been observed mourning their dead, dolphins appear to display grief when a member of their pod dies, and primates comfort one another in times of distress. These actions imply that animals not only feel emotions, but also understand loss and connection in ways similar to humans. Intelligence is another key indicator of something deeper within animals. Some animals use tools, solve complex problems, and even exhibit self-awareness. Crows, for instance, have been found to recognize faces, remember those who have treated them kindly or cruelly, and even use tools to obtain food. Dolphins display advanced communication skills and have been observed helping injured members of their group. Elephants have remarkable memories, form lifelong relationships, and even appear to hold funeral-like gatherings when a member of their herd dies. If intelligence and self-awareness are markers of a soul, then these behaviors challenge the idea that humans are the only ones who possess one. Moreover, the relationships animals form with humans seem to suggest a level of understanding beyond simple conditioning. A dog does not merely obey because it has been trained to. It expresses loyalty, excitement, and even protective instincts. Many dogs have been known to risk their own lives to save their owners, staying by their side in times of danger or distress. Therapy animals provide comfort to people with anxiety or depression, often sensing emotions before their human companions even speak. This deep connection between humans and animals hints at something more profound than just learned behavior. It suggests empathy, an awareness of the emotions of others, and a bond that goes beyond mere survival. Religious and philosophical traditions have long debated whether these qualities indicate a soul. Some believe that a soul is unique to humans because of our ability to reason and reflect on our existence. However, if love, emotional depth, and intelligence are qualities of a soul, then animals seem to possess them as well. The way they express joy, grief, attachment, and even forgiveness speaks to a depth of being that is difficult to dismiss as merely biological. While science may not be able to prove whether animals have souls, the undeniable truth is that they love, they think, and they form bonds that transcend words. Their capacity for kindness, their ability to feel pain and joy, and their unwavering loyalty challenge the notion that they are simply instinct-driven beings. Whether or not animals have souls in the same way humans do remains a question of belief, but their ability to touch hearts and change lives is something that cannot be denied. The emotional pain of losing a pet is often underestimated by those who have never experienced it firsthand. For many pet owners, their animal companions are not just pets, they are family members, confidants, and sources of unconditional love. When a pet passes away, the grief can be just as intense as losing a human loved one. The house feels emptier, the familiar sounds of paws on the floor or a gentle purr are gone, and the routines that once brought comfort now serve as painful reminders of what has been lost. One of the reasons the loss of a pet is so profound is the depth of the bond shared. Pets provide companionship in a way that is free from judgment, expectation, or pretense. They are there through life's ups and downs, offering silent support in times of loneliness, sadness, or stress. A dog that once greeted its owner with excitement at the door, a cat that curled up beside them at night, or even a bird that chirped happily in the morning. All these small but significant interactions create an emotional connection that becomes part of daily life. When that presence is suddenly gone, the absence is deeply felt. Grieving a pet is often complicated by the fact that society does not always recognize the depth of this loss. While the death of a human family member comes with formal rituals, funerals, condolence messages, and an accepted period of mourning, the loss of a pet is sometimes met with dismissive comments like, "It was just an animal," or "You can always get another one." These statements, however well-meaning, can make a grieving pet owner feel isolated or misunderstood. The truth is that grief is not measured by species, it is measured by the love and connection that was shared. For many, a pet is a constant companion in life's journey. They are there for morning walks, quiet evenings on the couch, and even during difficult times when human relationships may falter. They listen without interrupting, comfort without conditions, and love without hesitation. Their absence leaves a void that cannot simply be filled by getting another pet. Just as no person can ever replace another, no pet can ever truly replace the one that was lost. Each animal has a unique personality, habits, and quirks that made them special, and their loss is deeply personal. Another challenge of grieving a pet is the suddenness with which their loss can occur. Unlike humans, pets often do not show signs of illness until the condition is advanced, leading to difficult decisions about medical care and, in some cases, euthanasia. The weight of this decision can bring guilt, doubt, and emotional pain. Even when pet owners know they are acting out of love, choosing to say goodbye is one of the hardest decisions they will ever make. The final moments with a beloved pet, whether at home or in a veterinary clinic, are filled with heartbreak, love, and a deep sense of sorrow. Despite the pain, grieving a pet is a necessary and important process. Suppressing grief does not make it disappear, it only delays healing. Some people find comfort in creating rituals to honor their pet's memory, such as planting a tree, keeping their collar, or making a photo album of cherished moments. Others find solace in talking to friends who understand, or joining support groups for pet loss. Expressing grief in a way that feels meaningful helps to process the pain and keep the memory of the pet alive. In time, the sharp pain of loss may soften into a bittersweet remembrance. The sadness of their absence never fully fades, but it is accompanied by gratitude for the love they brought. The love shared with a pet does not disappear when they pass. It remains, woven into the heart and memory of those who cherished them. The grief is a reflection of that love. A love so deep, so unconditional, and so pure that it is worth every tear shed in their absence. Throughout history, people have sought comfort in the idea that their beloved pets continue to exist in some form after death. This belief is not just rooted in religious teachings, but also in personal experiences. Many pet owners report feeling the presence of their departed companions in ways that go beyond mere memory. These experiences range from vivid dreams and unexplained sensations to hearing familiar sounds or even seeing fleeting visions of their pet. Whether these occurrences are the result of grief, the subconscious mind, or something more profound remains a mystery. But for those who experience them, they provide reassurance that the bond with their pet has not been entirely broken. One of the most common ways people sense their pet's presence is through dreams. Many individuals have reported dreams where their pet appears healthy and happy, sometimes interacting with them in a way that feels strikingly real. These dreams often leave a lasting emotional impact, providing comfort and a sense of closure. Some believe these dreams are simply the brain's way of processing loss, while others feel that they are actual visitations. Messages from their pets letting them know they are at peace. Regardless of the interpretation, these dreams can be deeply meaningful and provide a sense of connection even after physical separation. Beyond dreams, some people report hearing the sounds of their pets after they have passed. A dog's nails clicking on the floor, the jingle of a collar, or the soft sigh of a sleeping pet are noises that once filled a home and in some cases seem to persist even after the pet is gone. While skeptics might attribute these sounds to the brain's ability to fill in familiar sensory details, those who experience them often describe an overwhelming sense of comfort rather than fear. These moments can feel like gentle reminders that their pet spirit is still present in some way. Others describe feeling their pet's presence in a more physical way. A common experience is the sensation of a cat jumping onto a bed or curling up in its usual spot, only to find that nothing is there. Some people feel a familiar pressure against their legs, as if their pet is brushing past them. These sensations, often occurring in the quiet moments of the day or night, bring a feeling of closeness that defies logical explanation. Whether a trick of the mind or something beyond human understanding, these moments hold deep emotional significance for grieving pet owners. There are also stories of pets appearing as visual manifestations. Some claim to have seen a fleeting glimpse of their pet out of the corner of their eye, only for it to vanish when they turn to look. Others report seeing a misty or glowing figure resembling their pet in places they used to frequent. These experiences, while rare, are consistent with reports of human spirits making appearances after death. In cultures that believe in spirits or an afterlife, these sightings are often seen as evidence that the love between a pet and its owner transcends death. For those who are more spiritually inclined, signs from pets can also come in symbolic forms. Some believe that their pet communicates through nature. Seeing a butterfly land near them, a bird behaving in an unusual way, or even a familiar-looking cloud in the sky can be taken as a message of love and reassurance. These beliefs are not tied to any one religion, but rather reflect the universal human desire to maintain a connection with those we have lost. Whether these experiences are seen as the work of the subconscious mind or true spiritual visitations, they provide comfort to those who grieve. The feeling that a beloved pet is still watching over them can ease the pain of loss and help pet owners move forward while still cherishing the love they shared. While science may not be able to prove the existence of an afterlife for pets, the deep emotional impact of these experiences suggests that love, in some form, continues beyond the physical world. Different cultures and religions have long held beliefs about what happens to animals after they die. These perspectives vary widely, shaped by spiritual teachings, traditions, and personal experiences. While some religions view animals as having souls and continuing on in an afterlife, others see them as part of the natural cycle of life, returning to the earth without an eternal existence. Despite these differences, one thing remains common across cultures: the deep respect and love for animals and the desire to understand their fate beyond death. In Christianity, views on whether animals have souls and go to heaven have been debated for centuries. Traditional Christian doctrine has often emphasized that humans have souls that are uniquely made in the image of God, granting them the ability to enter heaven. However, many believers argue that God's love extends to all living creatures. Some point to biblical passages such as Isaiah 11:6, verses 9, which describes a peaceful afterlife where animals and humans coexist in harmony. Sayetse. Pope Francis even suggested that animals could be part of heaven, a comforting thought for many grieving pet owners. While official doctrine does not provide a clear answer, personal faith and interpretations of Scripture lead many Christians to believe that their beloved pets will be reunited with them in the afterlife. In Hinduism, animals are deeply respected and are believed to have souls, just like humans. The doctrine of reincarnation teaches that all living beings are part of a continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, samsara. Animals, like humans, go through this cycle and can be reborn into different forms based on their karma, the sum of their actions in previous lives. Some Hindu traditions suggest that highly devoted pets who shared a deep bond with their human companions may be reborn as humans in their next life. Others believe that particularly pure and loving animals may attain moksha, or liberation from the cycle of reincarnation, and merge with the divine. Buddhism also embraces the concept of reincarnation. Animals are considered sentient beings capable of experiencing suffering and joy, and their souls continue in the cycle of rebirth. The Buddhist principle of compassion, karuna, teaches kindness and respect for all creatures. Some Buddhist traditions believe that pets who have accumulated good karma may be reborn into higher forms, potentially even as humans, depending on their past actions. While Buddhism does not specifically teach about an afterlife for pets in the way some other religions do, it does emphasize that all beings, including animals, are interconnected in the cycle of existence. In Islam, animals are considered part of God's creation and are to be treated with kindness and respect. The Quran speaks of animals as communities similar to human societies. Surah Al-An'am 6:38. While Islamic teachings emphasize that humans have a unique spiritual responsibility and are directly accountable to God, there is debate among scholars about whether animals will have a place in the afterlife. Some believe that animals will not experience an afterlife in the same way humans do, while others suggest that, because God is merciful, He may grant paradise to animals as well. Stories from Islamic tradition describe animals being resurrected on the Day of Judgment to receive justice for how they were treated in life, reinforcing the idea that they have a divine significance. In many indigenous cultures, animals are revered as spiritual beings that hold wisdom and power. Some Native American traditions believe that animals have spirits that continue on after death, often serving as guides or protectors to the living. In some traditions, a pet spirit may stay close to its owner, watching over them in times of need. Other beliefs suggest that animals return to nature, their spirits joining the wind, rivers, or sky, becoming part of the greater cycle of life. This deep spiritual connection to animals influences how indigenous communities view death not as an end, but as a transformation. Across various cultures and belief systems, the question of whether pets have an afterlife is answered in many different ways. Whether through the concept of reincarnation, the hope of a heavenly reunion, or the idea that their spirit merges with nature, each perspective offers comfort and meaning. These beliefs reflect the deep love humans have for their animal companions and the universal desire to believe that such love does not simply vanish with death. Regardless of religious or cultural background, the enduring presence of pets in our hearts and memories speaks to a connection that transcends the physical world. For many people who have lost a beloved pet, the idea of reuniting with them in the afterlife provides great comfort. This belief is often deeply personal, shaped by faith, spiritual experiences, and the deep emotional bonds shared with pets. While different religious and philosophical traditions offer varying perspectives on whether such a reunion is possible, the love between humans and animals transcends death in the hearts of those who cherish their memory. One of the most well-known and widely embraced concepts of a pet afterlife is the idea of the rainbow bridge. This poetic vision describes a beautiful, peaceful place where pets go after they pass away, waiting for their owners to join them one day. In this imagined paradise, pets are restored to full health, free from pain or suffering, and they continue to play and enjoy life until they are reunited with their human companions. The idea of the rainbow bridge is not tied to any specific religious belief, but serves as a comforting narrative for anyone mourning the loss of a pet. Many people find solace in envisioning their furry, feathered, or scaled friends in a joyful place, knowing they will one day see them again. From a Christian perspective, the possibility of reuniting with pets in heaven is a topic of much discussion. While traditional Christian teachings focus primarily on human salvation, many believers find hope in passages of the Bible that suggest animals could be part of God's eternal kingdom. In Isaiah 11:6-9, a vision of the future describes a peaceful world where animals and humans coexist in harmony. The wolf shall dwell with the lamb, the calf and the lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. Some interpret this as evidence that animals have a place in the afterlife. Additionally, Revelation 5:13 speaks of every creature in heaven and on earth praising God, which some take as a suggestion that animals are included in God's divine plan beyond death. While there is no definitive biblical statement about pets in heaven, the belief that God's love extends to all creatures provides comfort to those who hope for a reunion with their pets. In Hinduism and Buddhism, the cycle of reincarnation plays a key role in what happens to animals after death. According to these beliefs, pets, like all living beings, continue on in the cycle of samsara, birth, death, and rebirth, until they attain liberation, moksha, or nirvana. Some believe that if an animal had a strong bond with a human, it might be reborn in a form that brings them closer together in the next life. This could mean that a pet could return as another beloved animal or even as a human. Rather than a single afterlife where reunion takes place, these traditions suggest that souls remain connected through multiple lifetimes, finding each other again and again in different forms. For those who embrace spiritualism or personal experiences beyond religious teachings, signs from deceased pets offer reassurance that they are still present in some form. Many people report dreams where their pet appears happy and at peace, sometimes offering comfort or a final goodbye. Others describe feeling their pet's presence, hearing familiar sounds, or even catching glimpses of them out of the corner of their eye. Whether these experiences are messages from beyond or simply the mind's way of processing grief, they reinforce the idea that love does not end with death. Even outside of religious or spiritual frameworks, the memory of a pet can create a sense of ongoing connection. The love shared with a pet does not fade, and in many ways they continue to live on through the stories, habits, and cherished moments left behind. Whether one believes in a literal reunion after death or simply carries the love of a pet in their heart forever, the bond between humans and animals is profound and enduring. And the hope of seeing them again, in whatever form that may take, is a source of comfort for many who mourn their loss. The question of what happens to pets when they die and whether animals have souls is one that has been contemplated for centuries, touching the hearts of those who have loved and lost their cherished companions. While different cultures, religions, and philosophies offer varied perspectives on the afterlife of animals, one truth remains universal. The bond between humans and their pets is profound, enduring, and deeply meaningful. For some, religious teachings provide reassurance that their pets will be waiting for them in an eternal paradise. Others find comfort in the idea of reincarnation, believing that their pet's soul continues on in another form. Personal experiences such as dreams, sensations, or even fleeting glimpses of a pet's presence often offer grieving owners a sense of peace, suggesting that love transcends physical existence. Regardless of the belief system, the love and connection shared with a pet do not simply vanish with their passing. Grieving a pet is a deeply personal journey, one that deserves recognition and understanding. Their companionship, loyalty, and unconditional love leave lasting imprints on the heart. While their physical presence may be gone, their memory, spirit, and impact remain woven into the lives they touched. Whether through spiritual faith, personal experiences, or the comfort of treasured memories, the hope of a reunion with our beloved pets continues to bring solace to those who mourn. In the end, love is eternal, and the love we share with our pets is no exception.